I'm pulling a little more cards because I want to. What is the energy that this collective who's here right now is needing to come through? Some symbols: an anchor, crown, evil eye. Alright, let's shuffle. Had a lot of music stuck in my head lately, like waking up with songs stuck in my head, and like right before I fall asleep I'll have music stuck in my head, and it's like never the songs that I was listening to, which is so funny. Okay. First I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I felt so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to play along, and so you're back from outer space. Oh, I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed those stupid locks. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Go on now, go. Oh, that song haunts my life. But now, for some reason, I don't know what changed, it doesn't bother me anymore. I played it one time when I was like really in a moment where I'm like, I just don't want things to have so much power over me anymore, you know? And I played that song and I just danced and I moved and I felt and I think that's sort of what you're being asked to experience right now. If you've gone through a tower moment, if you're going through a tower moment, you're being asked to connect with your inner wisdom and find a new sense of stability. Anchor is here again. Yeah, you might be thinking back to a specific time period and you're wondering about something. Can something really stand the test of time or really be secure or something? You're wondering about the potential, the stability, the regrowth maybe. But there's an element here of something recovering and staying strong and being able to endure all the seasons of time. Yeah, this is very much infinity symbol, 8 energy. You're being asked to take chances. 8 again, oh my god. Around what's possible in your relationships and your community. 37 is showing up, 12 is showing up. What else do we have? Ooh. 8. Wouldn't you have guessed it? 18. Destiny is showing up. Harmony, peace, love is showing up. Heart energy is showing up. You're feeling like, yeah, you're in a moment of really wondering about, you know, can you really take chances with certain things? Can you really see the potential for certain things? Can something really be destined for you? Can something really be I just think you know that you have a lot of possibilities, and you're someone who can really easily find and create community. But there's also this feeling of like a little bit of just like curiosity about your potential to really make like a true, deep, felt, grounded connection, or yeah, with community. It feels like you always have some kind of like guard up, or maybe like something disrupts it, something just like I'm just getting this feeling of feeling like I'm gonna do the wrong thing, or but this is like really much like a part of your path. Some of the stuff that you have gone through, I think you understand, like overall, if you look at your life from like bird's eye view, you can see like the scales are all balanced. Like you had moments where you might have had things that really didn't feel like you deserve them, or that went really bad, or that were not right at all. And then there's some ways that you're like able to take accountability and realize like sometimes, you know, you treated people unfairly, and Saturn is showing up here to just like to just represent like you had a very karmic journey, and because of that, you know, sometimes you wonder about the potential of things. Maybe if you're even, you know, able to receive or be worthy enough to have something that just feels really peaceful, that feels really stable, that's just fun. That's what you feel like. It's like, for fuck's sake, can it just be fun? Can we just have fun? Can things just be peaceful? Can we just be loving? Like, that's just what you're seeking and what you're craving so much. And it feels like there's just this guarded energy, things disrupting it. A lot of like masculine energy here around what kind of actions are being taken. I feel like very 1-1 might be significant. Yeah, there's just like a very distractible, not necessarily, just like very high energy actions, very active energy, feeling like you can't focus or channel in on this energy at times. But you know that if you can, and if you do, you're able to really create a lot of good luck for yourself. So it just feels like you're kind of maybe doubting, like not even doubting, you're just curious about the potential of something, like the way that you're showing up, or how you can really seek out community, or like how you can make an impact in your community. You might just be wondering, like, is this really where I'm supposed to be rooted? Is this like, you know, it's just that kind of feeling a little bit of curiosity if like you can really feel grounded in the community and spaces that you're in, and wanting to show up in this way, this fun way, find harmony and just like inner peace, and avoid just like conflict and disruption. Let's see. When you really like look back and reflect on things, you can really see how life has mirrored your choices and your decisions. You might have made decisions to end things in some way. You might have made decisions around finances. Or maybe you just made risky choices, risky decisions. Maybe you're someone who has problems with decision making, and you're just reflecting back on that, and you're wondering like, can this really happen for me? Can I really experience all this? All these things, like you might be trying to manifest something. Let's see, I'm curious if that card ends up showing up. You're trying to like heal something for yourself, and you know that by healing this, it's gonna heal the people around you and in your communities. I'm seeing angels watching over you. This is a phase. This is going to like pass for you. This wonder, this like feeling like just like maybe being a little bit in your head about the situation. Come back to your intuition, you know, if now doesn't feel like the right time to address it, whatever this thing is that you're wanting for yourself, or maybe just you'll know when's the right time to act. You'll know when's the right time to put things into motion, because you are connecting more to your intuition, and I do see that things that you try to ignore are going to come back and bite you later. So there is just this energy of like coming back. You know, if now's not the right time, you're still gonna have to come back to something, and it looks as though there's going to be, I don't know. I want to just say like, yeah, there's like a conversation. You might also be thinking back on a conversation that you had. You might be thinking about a conversation, and to me it just seems like a very respectful conversation where two people are able to like look either like, you know, it's just this energy of like, I respect you and I value you, and like, I don't know, there's just a you're wondering if something was just a phase. Like we were just talking about how this is just a phase where this doubt and this curiosity of like, could this really happen. And I feel like whatever was going on during the solar eclipse, like whatever you planted seeds on around the solar eclipse is going to be an indicator of whether, that is the case, whether something will actually be able to return to you. And it says right here, they'll be back. There, so whatever it is that you are like, I'm going to have to handle this, come back to this, revisit this at some point. The sun is significant here. So like I said, solar eclipse, whatever you planted seeds around, the sun, this seems like something that's full circle, something faded, something karmic, something ending, and something beginning. A whole lot of something. There's a whole lot of something. A whole lot of something. Yeah, you're manifesting something. You're definitely manifesting something. And this always, I'm going to be real with you. Dogs are showing up here. Remember, dogs are symbolic for loyalty, unconditional love, and best friendship. So when it comes to a manifestation manifestation journey, that I don't know why I wanted to just go with thing. I will say that I have been able to manifest multiple things. That's where my brain was going. Okay. And when I manifest, a few things usually do happen. There's this understanding that you're going to have to let go of some things to make room for something new, right? And that has looked like something different for literally every single thing that I've manifested. 17 is showing up. You're on the right path. So yeah, there's this whole element of having to make space for something. Like, let's say I wanted to manifest, I don't know, a purse. Like, I would get rid of a bunch of purses that I already owned that I don't use or need to be donated or whatever, and make physical space for that. So you can think of it something like that. And then that has shown up through emotional goals of mine, through personal relationship goals of mine. Like, it has shown up in so many different ways. 1818. This has been something that has really made manifestation a lot less fun for me. Once I understood, I had manifested a couple of times, and I really understood what that whole process required. It was like, okay, how much do I really want to manifest every single year? Because there is this balancing of scales that will always transpire with the universe, right? The law of polarity, right? The scales will always be balanced in some way. And when you are putting out all of these wants and intentions into the universe, congratulations, that's magnificent and beautiful. I hope you're also like the most attached person in the world, because you're gonna have to give up your entire current fucking reality in order to have it. You know? And I don't think I was really prepared for like how big of an impact doing certain things for my manifestation was really going to have. You know, calling in a lot of like really big change and a lot of like shift in self-concept in my relationships, my circles, like jobs that I was offering, or not offering, being offered, things that I was getting paid, all of these things started to really shift and change in ways that a version of myself in the past would have never really been able to, I don't think, fully be motivated to calling in or believed in calling in until that version of self was required to shed some skins, let go of some stuff, and step into that version that was necessary to manifest the things that I had really wanted, right? Because we might shed versions of ourselves, and we go through a growth journey. We go through all these phases throughout our lives, and we might finally be shifting into what feels like, this version of adulthood, but you're gonna go another 5 to 10 years and you're gonna find yourself in another place of no, some of those things that I thought about myself aren't really true either, because that's called growing, and that's being a person. And with that, there is always core things that are true to who you are in your heart and your soul that will remain. Sometimes we forget, sometimes we disconnect from those things, but they remain there, and throughout our lifetime we can come back to them, or we find ourselves back to them, and it's like an old friend, and it's something that feels really reminiscent, familiar, and very truthful, very aligned, and just feels really good in your core and makes sense to you in your core. And I think it's a really powerful practice to kind of recognize what those things are, especially if we're someone who can maybe get lost in life and the hustle and bustle and other people, right? So when you manifest, there is this process of having to let go of things. And then because we've somehow, some way been able to understand that the pain of things not changing and staying as they are, the pain of this manifestation not coming into fruition feels so much bigger and so much more unbearable, right, than what it would take to have to step into that version that can receive and call in that manifestation. That's when we are able to shift, right? Because if we can always find a reason to be like, well, this is all right, my circumstances, the way that I'm doing things, my habits, my mindset, my beliefs, my whatever, they're fine. I'm okay with this. I really want these things for myself. I really want all these goals to actualize, but I also don't want to literally do anything differently in order to get them. I'd like them to just show up. Good luck with that. If you're able to do that, please let me know how. That sounds incredible. Because every time that I've manifested something freaking enormous into my life, there was this process of having to step into a version of self who could actually receive it. And I didn't really feel that until I felt that. I heard it and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I had to experience it and I was like, oh, okay. I can't just get away with some of these old ways of operating. The version of me who can actually handle the shit I'm asking for can't do this anymore. I had to be very real, and I had to be very serious, and I had to be very disciplined with myself. And that continues to happen every single time I decide to be very intentional about what I'm calling in, right? And then the next part of this, and I'm gonna wrap this up soon and let you go soon, friends. But the next part of this is right, so we had this kind of like surrender happen where we're like, okay, yeah, no, I can't be that version of me anymore if I genuinely want these things in my life. Like, the two just do not add up to the vibration of what I'm trying to call into my life. So there's a surrender, there's this let go. There's like, okay, I will let go of that. Like, this means more to me. I value this more. I want to, like, I literally cannot bear the idea of having to exist without this manifestation coming to fruition. So that surrender, that like really true accepting like the inner call, that surrender is beautiful. But then it brings on, I think, the third most difficult part of manifestation, which is where all of the doubt happens when things are not taking shape. So we have to understand that, like, yes, we can speak things into existence. We can meditate and visualize and like call things in on an energetic level, but we still have to wait for the physical to like realize, right? Real eyes. Okay, the physical realm has to realize the energy that we have put out. It has to create the physical form, the physical shape. And I want you to just for a moment look around you, and I want you to look at literally anything. Anything that is in your immediate environment, and I want you to understand that that was once a thought. There is nothing here that exists that was not manifestation, that did not start as a thought before it became a thing, before it came into the physical realm and became an existence. So we often in society, we know the quote of, oh, I'll believe it when I see it, right? It's like, once the physical has given me this proof, you know, the proof is in the pudding, and once I've seen it, like, then I can believe it. But what manifestation requires of us is to believe it before we see it. So now my version is like, I'll see it when I believe it. When I believe in this thought, when I believe in this vision, when I believe in this dream, when I believe in the energy that I'm putting out, even when I am not seeing the physical, tangible results right before my very eyes in this very moment, I can fall into this place of trust in my path, trust in the energy that I have spent a lot of focus and intention putting out and aligning myself to. I think what so many people do is when they don't see the physical immediate results, right, in this very instant gratification society that we live in, we go back to what we knew. We're like, well, fuck that, it's not working. I'm not going to keep doing the same thing that, you know, this version of myself is kind of tricky to step into. Like, it's requiring me to step up, and it's maybe challenging, and it requires a little bit more focus or a little more effort or whatever. So we just decide, okay, well, I gave it like 21 days. You know, that's what they say. It creates a habit in 21 days. So it's not here. I'm just going to count my losses. Now or never energy has been coming up a lot lately. And I want to speak to that real quickly because I myself am someone who has to stop with this feeling of like it's now or never, because literally life has so many examples of how that's just not true. And we put so much pressure onto things in our lives, maybe expectations on others. There's all kinds of things with this feeling of like, like now or never, like it's got to be right now, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, everything in divine timing. Nature will always inherently bloom as it's supposed to. Nothing in nature is rushed, and yet everything gets done. Hello, collective who goes to Electric Forest, right? Like that's one of my favorite messages from that festival is like, you don't have to rush this process. Like, everything will be done, especially if you're able to continue to hold faith in your manifestation coming to fruition. And remember that your aligned actions, the energy that you're putting out, is what calls this into your life. So don't backpedal. Don't, revert. Don't end up putting yourself back into this energy because the physical world has not necessarily shown you any type of tangible results, right? Because they will show up if you continue to really trust and believe in your vision and what your path is asking of you, and that you have been really stepping into that version who can receive it. You best believe that those tangible little moments, little glimmers of oh, oh, things are happening here. Momentum is picking up. So after you kind of go through those very 3 difficult steps of manifestation, right? As magical and fantastic as it is to see things take shape and take form that were once a scribble in a notebook, right? Just an idea, an idea that stayed with you time and time again, or a thought or a feeling or whatever. And then you get to the end of that journey and it has manifested. Of course, you want to tell everyone you'll never believe what I was able to do in my life and how this massive success story, and I started here, and then, that sort of energy. But baby, as magical as that is, you yourself know and will know that does not come without some really taxing, difficult parts of that journey. And I would say that the final 4th difficult step of manifestation is the consistency, right? Because when we don't see those physical, tangible results showing up in our immediate reality, it's hard to stay aligned to your vision. It's hard to stay consistent in showing up in that way. And what I see for you collective, and what I really hope for you collective, is that you do not abandon yourself, do not abandon your goals and your visions and your path, right? Don't try to, I talked about this a minute ago, of stop abandoning your timeline. Stop just giving up on your timeline and hopping over to something that looks easy and shiny and probably familiar, reminds you of whatever. You're on the timeline that you need to be on. You've planted the seeds. You've laid the foundation to see your thing come into fruition. But for some reason, and maybe this is part of the inner child or inner teenager healing that the collective reading I did a couple days ago was feeling into, was healing that need to abandon and give up on yourself and just leave or just vanish and disappear on yourself, on your own wants, on your own visions, on your own goals. For some reason, for some of us collective, we may have had experiences in our lives that taught us that that's what we should anticipate. For some reason our experience taught us to expect this level of desertion, this level of not really even getting to the finish line to see what could have been or what could have come into fruition or could have really existed for yourself, because in your mind and your experience, what you know and feel to kind of revert back to is it's better if I just kind of declare for myself that this is not something that I want, even if that's not true and aligned in my inner truth, right? And we know Mars will show us what needs to be expressed the next time around in eclipse season. So we might as well stay in alignment with our truth, right? 57 is showing up to show you that everything is truly possible for you, and to allow in yourself to believe in things working out for your highest and greatest good, right? So we have this feeling of for some reason, we don't let ourselves think that way. Like, maybe things might just go well. Maybe things might just work out for us and whatever that looks like. And instead, in a way to almost not even necessarily protect ourselves, maybe it started as a way to protect ourselves, to maybe keep ourselves from actually getting our hopes up and feeling hopeful and like feeling excited about what could happen. We tell ourselves like, oh, that won't happen. It won't work out. It doesn't work for me. I tried, or you just declare that it's something that's no longer available to you, no longer something that you want. So you try to deny that within yourself so that if for some reason that manifestation cannot show up to you in the way that you had always hoped and wanted, it wasn't that bad. But isn't it? Isn't it always still just as bad when we try to pretend like it's not something we wanted? When we try to pretend like we didn't actually care or give a fuck, or when we try to pretend like, yeah, no, it wasn't something I actually really wanted anyway. And then when it doesn't show up, or someone else has it, or whatever, there is still this element of this inner realization, this inner truth within you that will remind you like how you actually feel. You can't deny yourself of yourself. And I think what's going to really be healing for you in this time and space is actually just really seeing how that energy of just like abandoning or, I'm going to go with abandoning, really tends to show up for you with how you treat yourself and how you might treat your journey, or how you used to treat your journey, your manifestations in the past, okay? But you've gone through a lot of metamorphosis and shift and growth and change. You've been on a beautiful journey nonetheless, and you can see that when you look back. And I think you're at a point now where these doubts, these feelings might come up to trip you up and throw you off of like holding faith in something that you really truly want in your heart and soul, or something that feels difficult to hold that consistency with. But I don't see this being where you just give up. Your angels, your ancestors and guides, if you've been listening along with these readings collective, have shown up multiple times now in multiple readings with the phrase never give up on a billboard, asking you to just find that motivation to stay true to whatever energy it is that you're trying to call in, whatever it is that you want for yourself, asking you to really stay committed to this version of self that you've been asked to show up in, and to see what this version of self is really able to create for you. So yeah, I really want that for you. I think in the very least, it becomes a very empowering and very reassuring feeling to know that you stayed true to your journey, you stay committed to your vision and to your manifestation, even with the potentiality of things just not manifesting in the way that you want to. I think there is a level of commitment of this like inner child, inner teenager healing that's like, you really want this, huh? Like this is something you really want to give it your best fucking shot, huh? And just this level of like inner witnessing and being like, okay, like, let's just try, let's see what happens if we just try. Like, let's just see what happens. I think of that quote, like, I want to see what happens if I don't give up. And that's the energy that you deserve. That's the energy that your manifestation needs and requires of you and deserves. And I think it's going to bring a lot of, like I said, a lot of empowerment and just inner healing, to give that to yourself, to just truly be able to know that you're not giving up on yourself and you're not abandoning what you really feel called towards, and it feels very much like it aligns with your heart. It's your heart and your soul. So because of that, I'm wishing you so much love on your journey, and I'm wishing you the very best things. This reading ended up being really sweet. So, yeah, I'll talk to you soon.